You can hear me? Thanks. Let's start. Welcome, roomers. Wave if you can hear. You don't have to wave. It's not pantomime, is it? Or is it? Who knows? It's a bit of a pantomime, isn't it? And to be honest, I mean, who wears this? Who wears these little shorts and a neckerchief if they're not in a pantomime? Stand up, lazy buggers. Come on. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, it's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those. What does your t-shirt say? You like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Those Zoomers at home wondering what it is. There's a picture of Elvis Presley pointing the finger forward saying, God saves. We can take it any way we want, I think. Feet together. Shoulders down, chest up, crown of the head up, breathing through the nose. So feet close or touching if it's comfortable, or apart if that's more comfortable. If you're pregnant as well, feet apart, head up, breathing through your nose. Just let your body drift. So sometimes one shoulder wants to drop, let it, if it does. Sometimes the body wants to drift to one side or the other. What we want to do is just allow the body to drift in any direction to the full range, to the end of that range of drifting. And do nothing to correct it. Just stay with it, even if it feels uncomfortable. I shouldn't be leaning like this or whatever. And gradually, the body will do things to explore its limitations and to correct them by itself. But you have to be patient, which is difficult. So breathing is, central, free flow breath. Movement, investigative movement, like changing the weight on the feet, left or right, forwards or backwards. Head buoyant, shoulders relaxed, crown of the head lifted, breathing, expressive. Bring the hands to the chest in prayer position. Atmanjali Mudra, or just Anjali Mudra. We mustn't let a Buddhist hear me say Atman in the Buddhist centers. It's not strictly speaking legal. It's a Buddhist in-joke. Nobody gets it. It's good. Stretch the arms down. Raise the arms up. There might be some Buddhists somewhere go, oh yeah, that's great. That's so funny. Anyway, keep that as an in-joke. Tummy, breathe through the nose. I could explain it, but it really does kill the... I mean, it's already a dead joke anyway, but kill it even better. Now, let's move around investigatively, and we're looking for love, right? Yeah, exactly. We're looking for love, aren't we? All of us, here and now, and forever. And so love is absorption in the present into the present, right? So love is openness and listening. Love is openness and listening. I must sort of contact that company. Love is company. Do you remember all those love is things and on cups and stuff? Love is openness and listening. And love is giving. So we're open to the fact that everything's connected to everything, and we're giving to that reality through play, through direct play. So for example, all the muscles are interdependent with each other through the fascial trains. Everything's in everything in that sense. But the body is interconnected with a wider web. There's a web within it, there's a web without it. And the web without it, around it, is the web of the gravitational field, the Higgs field, the electron field, all the fields that run around and through us. Take a big circle. Hands to the heart center. Let me hear you take a deep breath in with a deep breath out to follow. And take 2, 3, 4 or more after that. While taking deep breaths, raise your left heel, and feel into the right foot. So there are 3 arches in each foot. There's a medial arch, which most people know about. There's a lateral arch, which less people know about. And there's a transverse arch, which only nerds know about. Right? So, but you can feel them. You can feel the medial, it's a big toe side. You can feel the lateral, middle toe side, and you can feel the transverse. And we want to feel that they come online. Them coming online brings awakeness further up the leg. When you're ready, raise up. Reach down, hold the big toe if you can. It's quite wobbly and fun. Hand on the hip, breathe through the nose. Pull the leg up and out. Jaw soft, eyes soft, throat soft, brain soft, tongue soft. And it's meditation, it's love. It is love. Back to center, foot down, deep breath that's audible to me. And then another. And another just starts to come. And so does spontaneous movement. It begins to come. Investigative, relaxed movement. Huh? You know, which can be just shaking out the blues or, you know, just letting some movement happen. And then raise up the other heel. Breathe easy. A little homage to Elvis. Oh. Who loves Elvis here, by the way? Did you not? Who loves Bowie here? Yeah? Who loves chocolate? Who loves cats? Who loves... There you go. Oh, no. Got everyone on board. Okay. Okay, and I was going to go for David Attenborough after that. Yeah, there you go. He's universal, isn't he? Kate Bush. Yeah, I should have said Kate Bush. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, I was a bit gender imbalanced, wasn't I? Sorry about that. Joni Mitchell. Who loves Joni Mitchell? If you love Joni Mitchell, put your leg up and out. And you can extend the other arm out as well. Or if you love Kate Bush, or if you love Caroline Lucas. Breathe easy. Eyes soft, brain soft, throat soft, jaw soft. Okay, back to center. Leg down. Breathe easy. Shake out. So everything feels loose. Everything feels loose. Bring your hands to your chest. Inhale, exhale. That was nice. Okay, that was nice too at home. I didn't watch you, but I know it was nice. I felt it through the magical rays of the internet. Left toes in, right foot and leg out, turning on the ball of the foot, finishing off the turn on the heel. Great. Just check that you've got heel to arch alignment. Just double check you've got heel to arch alignment. Breathe through your nose. Inhale, exhale, come down. Relax and enjoy if you want, or stress out and tense up if you want. Or just check out, it's another option. Or, you know, fall in love. These are all options. It's not for me to tell you. Do what you want. Yeah. But one thing I would say is breathe freely. Let there be a bit of play. Let there be a lot of lightness. Huh? Okay, inhale. Such a good pose. I'm never bored of Trikonasana. Never. Hands on the hips. Chest open. Breathe through your nose. Jaw soft. Eyes soft. Back toes in. Front foot and leg out. Turning on the ball of the foot. Finishing off the turn on the heel. Just raise the arms. Raise your lead arm. Inhale. Exhale. Come down. Enjoy if you want. So just double check with that question. Check it with your heart center. So it's like, enjoy if you want. So just let that percolate. What did he say? Is he saying something to me? Yeah, I'll say it again because you might have missed it. Enjoy if you want. So then you have to ask yourself, do I want to enjoy? Uh-huh. And some people, of course, they don't know. Oh, bloody enjoy, bloody yoga. Not for enjoyment, is it? That's fine. That's a prerogative. Like goths, I was a bit of a goth when I was young. I used to quite like enjoying, not enjoying things. It's kind of what I enjoyed. So that's all right. Inhale, come on up. Hands on the hips. Breathing easy. Jaw soft, eyes soft, brain soft. Just tune into the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor are the muscles between the pubic bone and the tailbone. Pubococcygeus, coccygeus, puborectalis, and coccygeus. So it's a hammock of muscles to tune in on. Now, it's obvious to me as a yoga teacher when we either just hear the words, and it's like, yeah, this is words, la, 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 I'm at yoga, but you're just saying words. And when we actually endeavor to follow them into our experience, and that's what I'm going to encourage you to do now, to feel the pelvic floor muscles. And this means I move, part of how I feel them is moving. And then you can feel relationships between the tailbone and the pubic bone, which is essentially what the pelvic floor muscles are doing, bringing relationship between those two bones. We don't want to hold our breath, because holding our breath indicates that we're reaching out for something, where the pelvic floor is not out there, it's here, isn't it? No one left their pelvic floors at home this morning, I hope. So just tune in on the pelvic floor. Now, while tuning in and staying tuned in, by the way, tuning in on the pelvic floor is a really great portal to being in a direct experience of interdependence. We're going to raise the arms up. When you get about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way up, we have to make sure we're not impinging on the neck. So it could be finger wiggling, head repositioning, whatever works. And then we're going to turn the whole body around, back toes in, front foot and leg out, whole body turns that away. And you walk your front foot further across the width of the mat. That is to say, away from the front of the room, where Jim Taran, which is a mythological made-up creature, was at one point. So yeah, keep going across. Keep going. Good. Lifting the back heel up, externally rotate it. You might have done it once. Do it again. It's useful to do it again. And then land it. So you lift it up, externally rotate it, and then land it. Lightly tone the tummy in reiterative waves. Reiterative waves. So there's a sort of combing, we could say, of the tummy, in and up, and in, but over and over again, like some people comb their hair. I know not all people here are hair combers. I myself, I'm not a hair comber. I never comb my hair ever. It's not really worth it. Inhale, exhale, bend the knee. But those that are hair combers, sounds like an accusation, doesn't it? Are you a hair comber? If you are a hair comber, you repeat it. You don't just do it once, presumably. You do it until all the strands go in the direction you want them to go in, the same as each other. Then you put hair lacquer on if you're in the 80s. But here it's like, again and again, the belly fibers combed or brushed upwards. The front knee is bent, breathing through the nose. We're adjusting and readjusting, listening and responding in each micro moment to the way things are. Yoga is nothing about ideals, the perfect pose, the full expression. What the hell? No. Yoga is about listening, conversation in the moment, deep, profound, absorbing conversation. Inhale, come up with your pelvic floor in your awareness, turn back to the front, big circle with your arms, hands on your hips, level up your feet, take deep breaths. So that should have, I think it's sounding like it has got your lungs beginning to be more expressive, which is what we want. We want expressive lungs. Raise your arms up, wiggle if you wanna. And you could even do the Muppet Show. I'm a big fan of Kermit. And he does that at the beginning. He's very enthusiastic. I love his enthusiasm. Muppet Show! He does that at the beginning. I don't know how he really, so, you can be very enthusiastic if you want, but loose and relax. Now turn the back toes in, front foot and leg out, and square up the whole body. So walk the front foot further across the width of the mat, further away from this side of the room. Yeah, so keep going that way with the front foot. Yeah, a bit more. Bit more. Good, that's good. Lift the back heel up, externally rotate it, land it again, if you haven't already. Oh my God, the neckerchief is off. That means serious stuff. Lightly tone the tummy in reiterative waves, like combing. So it's abhyasa, again and again. In Sanskrit, the word abhyasa. In fact, in the Yoga Sutra, this really is a central sutra in the whole text. Abhyasa, vairagyabhyam tam nirodha. Repeatedly doing something, but without attachment, like really sort of happy, easy, adaptable. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, stay aware of your pelvic floor. Stay aware of the pelvic floor. And you can lift the back heel and play with the alignment there. That can be useful. Sometimes I like to be exclusively balanced only on the ball of the foot, on the big toe side. On the back foot I'm talking about, the ball of the foot on the big toe side. So the little toes up, the heels up. just for moments at a time. And I can use those moments to work more of the top of the groin, top of the back leg groin round. Yeah, the top of the groin round. The light tone of the tummy, softness of the eyes, the buoyancy, spontaneous conversational buoyancy of the pelvic floor. Inhale, come up with the inhale, turn back to the front, hands on the hips, some huffing plus puffing, plus huffing, plus a little bit more puffing, and then some huffing. And then a little puff as well. So having deep breaths. Now we are going to forward fold, so you might want to bring your feet together and put a block in front of you, because we want to keep this whole area from here to here open. We don't want to close up over the belly at all. If you're not sure whether you're not to use blocks, use them, because you can easily get rid of them. It's easy to get rid of them. Oh, Gwyneth, great little toe action. That sort of stuff makes me happy. I get out of bed for that. That's why I get out of bed. And Francis too. I don't know why it makes me so happy when I see people, because I think it's an indication of meditative calmness. So let's all celebrate meditative calmness in the little toes by spreading them with patience. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those are not my little toes. Someone else has the controls for them. But if you're super calm and you repeat and you don't hold your breath, their little spark of life will come through to the little toes. Never give up. Bear in mind, I've been doing this little toe extension since 1990, which is 33 years of little toe extension, and I ain't giving up. Never. Lift up from the inner groins. Can you still feel your little toes? Inhale. Lift. Exhale. Can you still feel your little toes? Be calm. Down to your blocks you come. Keep the anterior spine open. Now, if your heels have turned out, which precisely 6 of yours have, 6 people in the room have, turn them, so if your heels are turned in, rather, turn them out. Huh? If your toes have turned out, turn them in. So just check your toes, turn them in. Then, with the chest open, this is called Prasarita Padottanasana Ekam. See if you can make some further adjustments. Yoga opens up the nervous system, then it's up to us what we put into it. Huh? Some people put stress into their nervous systems when they practice yoga, and that's when you get those highly strung, uptight yoga teachers, you know, that you might have met a bit angry. So, you know, that can the point is, we're doing is opening up, but then we've got to know that what matters next is our attitude. It should be it can be one of exploration and love and interest and fun and lightness. We only lower if the lower back dips down into a concave, where we are, rather than a convex. If it dips down into a concave, then sometimes it keeps dipping down because the hamstrings keep releasing and it feels tight. If coming lower releases that tightness, that's the grounds for coming lower. Only that. Jaw soft, eyes soft, brain soft, shoulders soft, everything. Our body minds are filled with bias of what we think and what we don't think and what we value and what we don't value. And that expresses in physical bias. Some areas are tight while other areas, some areas are really working while other areas are not. So you can work backwards from the symptom to the cause. So in other words, balance the body. Balance between the inner and outer ankle. If your outer ankles are like on fire and your inner ankles are just, you don't even know what's going on, then there's an imbalance. Right? And between the calves and the shins, similarly. You know, if one area is on fire, tense and hot, and the other areas are dull, we need to balance. And that balance comes through investigative, playful movement. Okay. Yeah, really good. Coming back, thank you everyone for that. Come back to your fingertips on your blocks. Walk your feet a little closer to each other. And then when ready, come up, pressing energy down through the heels and walk your feet slowly towards each other. Bring your energy down to your feet, shake it down to your feet. Take a breath or two. Well done, everyone. Take a breath or two. Now we're going to take 2 blocks, although I only have 1, but you can imagine a second one, and I'll get the second one. 2 blocks, one like that and one next to it, with a little gap between the 2, about the thickness of a Twix, a delicious confection that I know you'll love, a Twix. So, but it should be away from the end of your mat. I haven't shown you quite right. It should be away from the end of your mat by the length of the block. By the length of the block. Oh, let's be precise. This is how far it should be away. The length of the block plus this bit of the, so if you add that and that, that's how far, I know it's nerdy, isn't it? So you could measure it if you want. If you're like, okay, that far plus that far, nerdy, and then you've got it. And then you fold your mat over. That should be just right. Yeah. That's ever so easy. That's the hardest bit of it, that. Because then you just cross your legs on the blocks and your bum's on the floor and you have fingers go behind you, scoot the buttocks under towards the blocks, come down to elbows, scoot under again, come all the way down. Oh, this is good. You're going to like this. Oh, yeah. Take a few deep breaths. This is going down well. Oh, yeah. Take a few deep breaths. So it's really natural to let go, isn't it? It's really natural. Now, positions for your hands can include on the upper chest. I think that's a good position if you then adjust your elbows to adjust your shoulder blades, because that can encourage us, or encourage the body rather, to breathe up into the hands. Another position, if you want, you can try this, is to raise the arms straight up. And if you wave them side to side, like you're listening to a marvelous song at a concert of your choice, a favorite popular musician, such as the Bay City Rollers or Donny Osmond or Alvin Stardust, then you might, as you sway the arms side to side, you can then bring them over your head and knock over your drink, or not, optional in that last bit. So gradually the arms come over. And in this way, we move our shoulder blades. Obviously, that's not the aim of someone waving their arms to Donny Osmond's beautiful singing voice, but for you, it may be. And by moving your shoulder blades, you get a lot more range of motion. Sorry, those are very old references musically. I should move forwards and perhaps include more contemporary bands, such as Shawaddy Waddy, or maybe you can go really, really, with what the youth would listen, Billy Joel, someone like that, really contemporary. Catch a breath if you want, jaw soft. Let's take 5 deep breaths. So it's quite easy, isn't it? Neck soft, lower back soft. And there may be little movements that come to sort of natural, spontaneous alignments and realignments. But breath is everything. Breath is everything. So we want to rest in our breath. We want to be open to the breath. In a sense, we want to serve the breath. Now we're going to change the cross of the legs. Now for me, I quite like to take the hands to just underneath the posterior superior iliac spine. Sorry, the bony crest at the top of the back of the pelvis. And when I change the cross of my legs, with my hands just underneath that bony crest, I like to scoot the buttock flesh under towards the heels. That just gives a bit more length for the lower back. You might want to do that. Those of you that enjoyed waving the arms and bringing them over the head might want to repeat that. It is good to do it again from the sort of beginning, as it were. So you can repeat that if you want. And as I've mentioned before, there is the option to knock over your drink, which is quite an exciting option. So waving your arms side to side, like you might wave them at a Billie Eilish concert or a Taylor Swift. Oh yeah, there you go. Or Louis Tomlinson or Harry Styles or even someone good. Sorry, that was a joke aimed at the 13-and-a-half-year-old stepdaughter at home who only plays those bands over and over again. Anyway, may they all be happy. I quite like them. Take deep breaths. So the body's saying yes, the body's saying yes. Skin is, and there's lots of, it's investigative. It's superessential in the sense that it's surrendered. It's superessential in the sense that it's surrendered. Like you might be given to any kind of moment. When you're given to any kind of moment, ultimately, in that giving, we're giving to something beyond that moment that yoga calls the mother, matrika. Sometimes it calls the field, strum. Sometimes it calls the Devi. Or if you're a Buddhist, because Buddhists like these sort of slightly conditioned co-production. The breath is everything. Move in any way that's just got a sort of, it's hard to describe, like a richness. Okay, arms come forwards and legs come together. Toes pointing away from the bum and the feet are down. The hands go behind the head, like you're relaxed on a Saturday in a beautiful room. And listening and responding is natural. It's just natural. So much of the time we get taken away from our experience by habituated lines of conditioning. So there are thousands of different sort of waves of conditioning that might pass through us, that might take us away from the moment. Conditioning that is conditioned to think about things, to construct a sense of self, and to juxtapose that self against other selves. And that's conditioned. It's not, the reality. The reality of our experience is interdependent. But because that has connotations for our society, we often mask that over, apart from in special circumstances, like on retreat or if you're in love or whatever. There are exceptions that we allow ourselves. Flex your hips, lift your feet, that means, until the lower back comes close to the floor, but keep your ankles really soft and keep your quadriceps really soft, which means that your knees, your shins hang from your knees. Your shins hang down from your knees and your feet hang down from your ankles. The real sense of looseness of the shins, looseness of the ankles. We're going to lift up the head and we're going to feel into the Nabha chakra. That's the navel center according to Patanjali in the Yoga Sutra. So the Nabha chakra.
So it's the navel center, so that we know where the belly button is. We want to feel deep into that area. Feel deep into that area. So when we're sort of looking at it, it's a set like a radio telescope looks, is sort of picking up the waves. When anything looks, it picks up waves, doesn't it? Light waves, if your eyes are looking, sound waves, if your ears are listening, which is what we call looking, but with the ears, and so on. Okay, come down slowly with the head, slowly, slowly, slowly. Take a deep breath in with deep breath out. Extend one leg straight up and dorsii and plantar flex, plus any other movements you want, like circling, half circling, bending the knee, extending the knee, shaking the leg, pulling the whole leg backwards, forwards. Anything that just feels, enlivening, loosening. Enlivening and loosening. So feel really free, like really free, just kind of like there's just nothing to worry about, Just, don't overthink it, just play with it. And then bring that leg down when you're ready, and the other one comes up and does similar sorts of investigative play. Any range is fine, any movement is fine, as long as the movement is absorbing and conditions or causes an expressive response in the breath, right? There are stipulations. It's anything that's absorbing, anything that's loosening, anything that releases the breath, anything that feels like everything is getting involved, Great, really good. Okay, that one down as well. Now lift your head up again. And again, feel into the Nabha chakra. So obviously with our eyes, we can only see the belly button and the area around it, but we can feel, we can interiocept, we can propriocept the belly button area. We can feel it. So we feel into it as deep as we can. Sometimes you can feel an energy connection from the belly button to the spine, especially if you investigatively move, like moving your tail this way and that. You can feel different actions. Of course, those actions are of the abdominals. When the hips move one way, the abdominals are contracting on that side. But that enables us to feel through the various living fibers into the energetic streams that underpin and condition them. Good. Now we're just going to keep the head up if you're okay to do that, but just tap your toes on your bricks alternately. So you tap the toes of the right foot, tap the toes of the left foot, and breathe through the nose. I'm just going to extend the range to tapping towards the end of your blocks. And it should still be a meditation. In Vajrasati Yoga, we have this metaphor of the two stepping stones. One is a rich experience. So all you need for yoga is two stepping stones, crosses a river. One is a rich experience, like you're feeling in the deep belly. So you got that. The second is to give to that rich experience, which we primarily do through our breath, to give to that. And that crosses you from one shore to the other. One shore, everything seems independent. The other shore, everything reveals itself as interdependent. Oh, what a game changer. Now, keeping the toe tapping, slowly bringing the head down, you'll feel a change in the abdominals. Breathing easy. Sometimes it feels like a light is coming on somewhere, perhaps actually in the sky. And now we're going to turn that toe tapping into movement in the air. In other words, extending the legs out to about 45 degrees alternately. Now, when you get to the full range, my suggestion is a little increase of speed just at the end, because that will condition a little recoil. And some of you will feel the popping and snapping of your meniscus. That's just because you're getting old. just gotta breathe into it. It's okay. No one's immune. Well, those people are very, very young and springy. Everyone's, so don't worry about anything. Okay, and then head down, feet down, take a deep breath. Doesn't matter how old you are, everyone feels like they're getting old. I remember 21st birthdays. Oh no, what? There's a song, isn't there, by Iggy Pop, Now I'm going to be 21. Oh no, I can't remember what he says. It's, oh no, there's no fun or something. And he's like, oh no, getting really old. And then, every age you think you're getting older. And then the older people always tell you you're really young. It doesn't matter who they are. If you're 70, the 80-year-olds are like, oh, I remember when I was 70. Full of life I was. Now, raise up one leg. Doesn't matter which one. Yeah, that's a good choice. That's a good leg to raise. I would have gone for that one if I were you as well. Heel in, toes out, cross that leg over the other. Over to the one. That was for anyone from the north. Said that way. So what you want is to push beyond the lateral malleolus. That's the outer ankle. So you're on the fibula. That's the outer shin. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can observe, because I'm doing it here. Now, some people do want the outer ankle on their leg. I'm not against that. But as long as you keep your foot dorsiflex, that's fine. I actually prefer to go just beyond the outer ankle. It just feels good. Then lift the foot that's on the floor off the floor. And breathe through your nose. You can experiment with movements left or right, finding sensations that are rich. And then we're going to lift up the head again. So this is a combination of hip work and abdominal work. We're going to extend the far leg and breathe into that action. Jaw soft, eyes soft, brain soft. And then we're going to see if we can lower that leg a little bit while keeping the lower back close to the floor. It's actually jolly hard. So breathe into it. Raise it up again. You did good. You did good. You did good. Head down, bend the far knee, bring that foot down, bring the other foot down. Now take that deep breath I know you want to take, the sigh at the end. Oh, take a few, really let this happen. Not only are we releasing from the immediate moment, but we're releasing from this week, even from this fortnight, even from this month. And now the sighs are getting bigger. Even from this year, oh God. And so on, even from this last 5 years. Oh God. And even from, from birth to now. Raise up the other leg. Similarly, dorsiplantar flex, move in any way you like, medially, laterally, extending out to the side. In looking for, it loosens the back as well as the leg, doesn't it? You can feel into the back as well as the leg. And we're doing it because of love. And that might sound like, oh, that's nice, Jim, to decorate the class with the occasional mention of love. It's nice. But it's not supposed to be nice. It's instructive. It's practical. Because love is openness. If a friend that you love comes around, they can come around in a really bad mood, a really angry mood, or a really sad mood, or a really happy mood, and you're there for them, right? They can be really angry. It's like, what's up? You're there for them. You don't say, oh no, sorry, not today. Only like you when you're happy. So similarly here, that we open to the body as it is. And by doing so, we open to the mother. So it becomes an act of what in yoga is called bhakti. Bhakti comes from a root bhaj, which means to give. Bhakti comes from a root bhaj, which means to give. Now, when you're ready, having done whatever you've done and enjoyed whatever you've enjoyed, we're going to turn the heel in, toes out, cross that leg over the other one. And you can play with it. I sometimes like to draw my leg across my other one, like a cello bow, and just kind of to play with that a little bit. You might want to play with that. It's about whether it feels good, and falling into the arms of the mother is what feels good. The mother means the source of all things. We call the mother in yoga. For obvious reasons, because everybody is born from a mother, right? right? There's no one in here who was born from their father, everyone from the mother. So that's the source of all things. Lift the foot that's on the floor and have a little play. You can move left, you can move right. Obviously the abdomen's involved, but there should be there's going to be a little something in the hip as well. And you're looking for the mother, the matrika. Matrika could be literally translated as mother complex, but unfortunately that sounds a bit Freudian. so that's not what we mean by that. The mother complex, the mother, not the Freudian sense. It means, that everything's interdependently connected because it's all from the same source, which is the field of interdependence. If one electron moves, all electrons move in the entire universe. What? Yes. And where are some electrons? You are some electrons. Right? So, everything's moving, everything. You can raise the other leg up if you want and play with that a little. You can move the foot that's up in the air if you want. And then you might want to experiment with lowering the leg, keep the lower back close to the floor. Some even like to lift their head. That's optional. Trembling tummies, they're allowed. Nothing wrong with a trembling tummy. Okay, good job. Bend the knee if the leg is in the air. Bring the foot down, release the other. Let me hear that deep breath with the sigh-like exhale. And let it be an opening for several deep breaths. For a set of deep breaths. Just complete surrender to the breath. Complete surrender. Release your hands from behind your head and roll over when you're ready. Let's have a little moment, shall we? You might think, well, I don't know what you mean by that, Jim. Well, I'll reserve my opinion for a minute. What I mean is this. Have a little moment. So you can curl your knees up. Now, if you focus on the Nabha chakra, it's really restorative, like deep sleep. You just sort of rest in the Nabha chakra. And most of us are, tired, So we need this sort of rest. Because there's this is what's called the karma loka, right? Karma loka. The karma loka means the loka, the realm of desire. That's what this is. That's where we all live. And these are karma rupas. These are desire bodies. They're always wanting something to eat or drink or watch or listen to or touch or smell. So it's nice to have a little rest from that and just rest in the deep belly. The only difficulty with doing that is really hard to get up again. We should have got up by now, but I can't. Oh, you're going to have to help me. Come on, do it together. That will help me. I can't. I've gone. Oh la la. Come on from the side. Open up your mat and come straight into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Straight into down face dog. That was a bit over enthusiastic, wasn't it? So straight into down face dog when you're ready, and then play lila. So another, in Vajrasati Yoga, we have a few things that are very simple that contain everything. So we have the metaphor of the two stepping stones with the two shores of the river, one being independent and one being interdependent, right? And that's how you cross the river. But we also have this trilogy, this practice trilogy or method, which is Lila, Artha, Lakshana. Lila is play. It's a beautiful word in Sanskrit. We even have goddesses like Lalita. Lalita she's just play. She's like she who plays. She's also known as Tripura Sundari. And Shobhadasi, she's got loads of names. But her names mean things like she who is beautiful in the three realms, Tripura Sundari. Or she who plays. So she who is beautiful is she who plays. Now play might mean bending the knees, might mean moving the pelvis. Play has a purpose, and that's the second part of this threefold practice principle. The purpose, the reason we're playing is absorption. So we have play, and we have the purpose, absorption. And then the last part is lakshana, signs. There need to be signs of absorption, like the breath opening up, like feeling absorbed, feeling in love, because love includes. Love includes. Okay, well done. Come down, slow and easy. Sitting on a block or love includes. That's it. Take deep breaths. Good job. Jaw soft, eyes soft. Maybe you want to roll a little on your shins. That can feel nice. Nice for the meniscus, nice for the anterior tibialis, nice for the gastrocnemius, nice for the hamstrings, quadriceps, and so on. So breathing easy, breathing natural, breathing honest. We're going to do something good, and we're going to offer something challenging, and we might even offer something ridiculous. So we'll have a look at those in that order. The first thing is come to your hands and knees. So this is good. And we're going to turn the hands the other way around. This is still good. Right. So you turn your hands the other way around, you breathe into the circumference of the wrists. So the wrists have a sort of circumference like an oval shape. And if you move your weight subtly, that can be part of the biofeedback of listening, responding. So you move one way, you move another. Your breath is part of it. Remember, we're looking to move into the field, into the arms of the mother, the matrika, the mother complex, but not the Freudian one. So we're moving into the arms of the mother, remembering mother just is used because of its obvious association with birth. You know, everything comes from the mother. We also use words like yoni, which can mean the source as well of all things. So that's what we want to merge with. And what's cool is you take, the saying goes, you take 2 steps towards her, she'll take 7 towards you. So before you know it, you're in her arms, as it were, which means you're absorbed in interdependence, the field of interdependence where the subjective experience is one of surrender and intuition. Now, you could make it challenging. It's good right now, but you can make it challenging by bringing the knees closer to the wrists, and maybe even the wrists closer to each other. And that's challenging. You can breathe into that. Now, the other stages, and there are several others, all come under the subheading ridiculous. Okay, so you may opt out of them. They start with taking the knees back again and then leaning forwards. And I'll just have to remove the microphone actually to move forwards. And if you've got boobs, right, you have to do a sort of wonder bra thing with them, right? And this is ridiculous now, isn't it? It's ridiculous. But I did say that. I did give fair warning that it was ridiculous. And then, you know, the pose continues until your feet lift. But I did say it was ridiculous. You know, you can't blame me for not. Okay, and that's enough, isn't it? It's like, well, that was interesting, Jim. Interesting part of the class, it's enough. Yeah, good job, Rachel. Rachel, that's good. Yeah, it is.
Have a rest now, though, because you've ticked the box. It's good. It's good. You'll be done. You can go and go. I've done good. Rachel, done good. And sit up and take a breath. Now, that pose is one of the first poses that's non-seated that's ever mentioned in the yoga tradition, Mayurasana. It's mentioned in an 11th century text, the Vivekananda. So anyway, that's just for reference. It's bloody hard, though, ain't it? Woo! Gets you out of the house. So, yeah, it's strong on the wrist, but it's good for your wrists, actually. So we'll take a few deep breaths. So the wrists feel like, what? Is this good? Is this good? Look, Jim, look. It is good. Trust me. Trust me. You might not like it, but it's good. Long term. Stretch your legs out. Put your hands behind your head. Weekend. I think of the weekend as a time to put my feet up. Lean back by 60 degrees and put your feet up. It's the weekend. So they're level with your eyes. That was naughty, Jim. Breathe through your nose. Trembling spine. Trembling spine. Good job when it's getting ready. Breathe into it. It's called boat pose, so capsizing is normal. It does happen. Bend your knees. Oh my God. Hug your, yeah, well done, Kath. Hug your legs. Lift up, pull on your legs to make the lumbar lighter. S'il vous plaît. Which is Dutch for make the lumbar lighter. S'il vous plaît. With your hands. Sorry, just to be clear.
That wasn't Dutch.
So jaw soft, eyes soft, brain soft, throat soft, tongue soft. Everything soft that can be soft. Okay, extend out your legs when you're ready.
Oh, by the way, you're ready now. Just in case you didn't know. In case you didn't know. Just whispering to the people. Just in case you didn't know.
Place your hands behind your bum. Bend your legs. Relax. Don't worry so much. It's a good noise, Norma. I think you said that on behalf of everyone. Legs bent. Tone the tummy in a wave like this. And then lift your bum. Now, heads and chests together. S'il vous plaît, which is German for heads and chests together. And the pelvis goes, it's one of my jokes. I only got 7. It's one of them. Pelvis goes forwards and then head and chest together. Don't let the head go without the chest. Don't let the chest go without the head. They go together. Instead of keeping your head half up, like, oh, no, I won't, because my head might fall off. And then awful. You know, keep your chest with your head. That's how you do it. That's how you look after yourself. So that means commitment. If your arms are, you're like, Jim, you don't know, my arms are hurting. Yeah, I know. I do know. Okay, come down. Oh, some of you have. Okay, cross your legs and draw the buttock flesh out and back. S'il vous plaît, which is Japanese for draw the buttock flesh out. Now stop that joke now. Never was a joke in the first place. Palms up. Breathe through your nose. Jaw soft. You might want to shimmy. It's not really what you or I want, is it? Just this is the sign we talked about. Lila Artha Lakshana, the play for the purpose of absorption. And one of the signs of absorption is you feel absorbed and intuition spontaneously expresses itself in the body, breath, mind. Intuition spontaneously expresses itself in the body, breath, mind. Inhale, lift from the groins up. Exhale, turn towards this lovely shrine area. Jaw soft, eyes soft, brain soft. Feel a bit selfish. I'm getting to stare at Tara and you're not, so there you go. Inhale, lift and turn. Turn the other way. Keep nice and lifted and light. So it's not just lifted, it's light. That's lovely. Breath-centered, meditative, responsive, absorbed, dancing. An early form of physical movement yoga, just at the dawn of the Hatha Yoga era, is Tandava. Tandava yoga. And Tandava yoga is a practice that you tune in on the center of the body until expressive movements begin to arise spontaneously. And they move into whatever they move into. And they form the origin of many of what we think of as modern postural yoga postures, these spontaneous movements. Eye soft, brain soft. So movement can help keep things loose, help keep things lifted. Keep things loose, keep things lifted. Return to center whenever you're ready. And lay down on what I call your tummy. Yeah, you know how to do that, right? You're doing it. That's it. No one knows straight away. If you have your head facing into the middle if you're on the outer rows, that would be groovy. Have your head facing into the middle if you're on the outer rows. And take a breath. Good. That's good. Oh, you like that? That's good. That's good. I'm pleased for you, temporarily. Come up onto your elbows, please. Come up onto your elbows and stretch the tummy. Stretch the tummy. So you stretch the lateral belly on both sides. If you move to the right, you can stretch the left tummy. If you move to the left, you can stretch the right tummy. This is a layer of aponeurosis. That is to say, web-like connective tissue that really benefits from a good stretch and lots of movement. And we're stretching not only the aponeurosis that covers the abdomen, but also we're stretching the psoas. It goes through the deep belly. Now let's stretch the other end of the psoas as well. So stretch the legs back. So the psoas attaches to the top of your inner thighs and goes through the deep belly to the sides of the lower spine. So if you stretch between those two areas, it'll be super beneficial. Now, while you're doing it, work your legs towards each other. You got it. And you can do it several times. Oh, even this is good. I'm liking this. Place your hands by your rib cage. Avoid turning your heels in towards each other, please. And this is enough, just like this. Find the pelvic floor. Now, lightly tone the tummy in a wave so it draws away from the floor, and there's a sense in which it's pulled towards the head. And press down and lift everything except the legs up off the floor. Good job. Everything except the legs. The legs stay on the floor. And, good. And then you tone your tummy. That means you suck it in and you pull your ribs up by pressing your hands down. Keep your shoulders down by lifting your chest up. Find the pelvic floor. If you feel really stiff and tight, don't worry about it. Just breathe into it. Oh God, his back is made of wood. It's just one big bit of wood. It's okay. It will get more pliable. Well done. Okay. Good idea, Barbara. Come down. Put one hand on top of the other and huff and puff and breathe and relax and breathe and huff and puff and breathe and relax and breathe and huff. What's that? Want to do it again? What was that noise? I'm going to take that noise as a yes. Come on, onto your elbows. Let's do it together. Let's get together. Come on, up, up, up. There you go. Stretch your legs back. You're all right. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. Come on, stretch, stretch, stretch. Stretch your legs back. Bring them together. Bring the hands by your mid-ribs. That's it. Don't worry. What's your thoughts like right now? Enthusiastic or other? Go for enthusiastic. This is good. I'm into this. Lift up. Breathe. Like feel it. Like this is interesting. Feel it. Yeah, good. Don't worry about things. Suck your tummy in. Lift up your lower back. If it's really tight, God, thank God you're doing it. Right? It's not going to get looser by not doing it. Good. Suck in the tummy. Lift up the chest. Get as much height. Some of you, oh God, oh my God, this back of mine. So it's all right, you're going to be all right. Back of the back towards the front of the back and the front of the back up. Yeah. Good idea, Barbara. come down. I'm taking all my cues from Barbara today. So if you want to give Barbara a backhander, take a few deep breaths. Well done, everyone at home. Breathing in. That's, oh my God, 2 is too many. 2 too many. 2 too many is 2. But 3 is just right. So when you think about 3s, everything that comes in 3s is really, really good. Think about it. Sometimes you get 3 for the price of 2 in Sainsbury's on the tin tomatoes. That's good, isn't it? 3 wise men. They're good. 3 degrees. They sung nicely. The 3 blind mice. They were marvelous. Quite cool. Exactly. Any other lists? Do let me know. 3 Stooges. 3 Musketeers. There's nothing that's not good about 3. The 3 Beatles, if you don't count Ringo. Sorry, Ringo. Come up. You should count Ringo. It's very good, actually, apart from when he sings. Stretch the tummy forwards. Stretch the leg. That sounds like a controversial view. No, Ringo's great. Stretch the legs. Hands by the ribs. Come on. This is the last one. Yeah, come on. No. Oh, yes, Jimmy. Oh, yes. And then lift up. Oh, yes. Change the nose to yeses. That's it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, good. Yeah. Suck in the tummy. Lift up. Get some space between the vertebrae. Doing really well. Some space. But yeah, that's good. Don't try and smile in this part. Don't try and smile. Smiling looks really odd in this pose because it's like sort of a bit insincere it looks. Okay, down you come. Oh, now you can smile. Take deep breaths and just watch the back undo itself. Don't worry if it's aching. That aching is called muscles. It's muscles. Just muscles. They're allowed to work. That's what they're for. So, oh, my back aches, Jim. It means your muscles have been worked, Jim. Then I'll be good. Really pleased for you. Awesome. Now, as you know, some of you have been coming to my classes for too long. Makes me feel too old. When someone said to me yesterday, I've been coming to your classes for 30 years, and I made her sign something that to never tell anyone. As some of you know, for that amount of time, I've been yearning for a giant spatula to help out my students and friends at a time like this, when I want them to come onto their side to face towards me. If I had a giant spatula, I could flip you over and you'd be like, oh, that's nice and easy. But I haven't yet. But the next big birthday, you can all club together and get me a giant spatula if you want. Luckily, that's a few years away, and hopefully you will have forgotten by then to get me something actually nice. Extend your bottom ribs. Go ahead. Stretch them. Oh, good job, Rachel 1 and Rachel 2. The 2, I've got 2 Rachels next to each other. That's what I try to do in classes. We've got to keep the Rachels in work. We can keep an eye on them. Okay. Bend the leg you're laying on. Yeah. Push down, lift and turn. Elbows, forearms and wrists on the floor. Have a little bit, yeah. I like what you were doing, Gwyneth. I didn't mean to interrupt it. I liked it. It was good. Stretching the inner groin is really important. And then play. So it could be movement backwards, forwards, could be movement side to side, but the result of the play should be absorption.
Lila Artha Lakshana, play for the purpose of absorption, showing up in signs that you're absorbed, like the breath releasing. Why does the breath release when you're absorbed? Because you're absorbed in this field. And what do you need to know? This field. What do you need to know at any particular time? This field. Just as it is. And so when you know what you need to know, you release. And when you're not sure, when you don't know what you need to know, then your breath goes shallow, doesn't it? Right? Now, some people like to up the ante on this, and you do that by taking the elbow that's closest to the bent leg. This is an option. You don't have to do it. The elbow that's closest to the bent leg, and it comes forwards and across to the opposite inner wrist. And that's a big stretch in and of itself. If you were to take that option, so I'll just repeat it, the elbow that's closest to the bent leg comes across to the opposite inner wrist, then you would put your head in your hand or on the forearm and only concentrate on lengthening, pulling your tummy in, pulling up and out of the pelvis. That's all. You just lengthen. You lengthen the lower back, you lengthen the tummy, you just lengthen if you're taking this option. You make no effort to actually bring your head towards the floor, only to lengthen. Coming up calmly and slowly, because that's a big old thing, isn't it? It's a big old twist. Well done. Well done. Don't rush. Go up slow. And then you go to the other side, still facing towards the front of the room. This way. Oh. Oh. Bend the leg you're laying on. Oh, Jim. Quite empathic, aren't I? Suck in the tongue when you're ready, as best as you're able. And then lift and turn. Elbows, forearms, and wrists on the floor, and in advance of the shoulders. And then suck in and perhaps play. Very, very good for the thoracolumbar fascia. Which, you know, it's just fascia. Fascia is elastin and collagen in various ratios. That binds together all the body. You know, it's the sort of material that holds the cells together. Of course, itself is formed of cells, but so muscle cells are held together with fascia. So we call that myofascia. Muscle cells are held together in little rows, like fibers, and each row is held, bound together like a little thin sausage by fascia. And then those fascial fibers are bound together into bundles, and then those bundles are bound together into muscles, all by fascia. So we have different kinds of fascia, 4 kinds of fascia specifically. Myofascia is one of them. Superficial fascia is another, that's near the skin and it holds the fat cells. So we're moving all these different kinds of fascia. Meningeal fascia is the fascia around nerves. And then visceral fascia around the organs. If you're doing if you're upping the ante may already be up enough, so you don't need to do it necessarily, but you'll take the elbow that's closest to the bent leg forwards and across, a big stretch just to reach to the opposite wrist. And then remember, we make no effort to bring the head down, only to lengthen, to lengthen, to lengthen, to lengthen. So every so often you suck in the belly, you pull forwards the chest and ribs, and that lengthening is all we need. That will bring us down towards the floor. Okay, come up real slow. Real slow. Real slow. And we're going to sit on a block. You can sit on a brick block or a regular block, short and facing forwards. Brick blocks are better if you've got one. Otherwise, sorry, that's slung that towards your feet. There's another one coming towards you. Brick blocks around. Sitting the sort of the heels aligned with each other and the body. On my brick block. Anyone else? Nice. Great. So this is Siddhasana. Sorry, that must have all sounded quite distant. I was just getting blocks from people in the room. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Tension in. Chest up, ribs up. Loose, lifted in the back. Anything that needs to happen can happen. Breath should flow. We're going to install a mantra. This practice is called nyasa. You might know the word nyasa from most modern postural yoga studios have some form of vinyasa. But the word is actually nyasa. It's just a prefix v. V usually means to separate, but not always. It sometimes means really. But nyasa means to place or to install, usually a mantra. So we're going to install the mantra Hong in the heart center. And it will be there all day so that if you lose the heart center, it will be a beacon. And if you take all your actions and all your speech and you stay in the heart center, you'll have the most magical day you can imagine. Like it properly. So keep all your speech, all your action, all your thoughts. If they come, they meet the world, but without leaving the heart center, that will be a magical day. So Hong, we're going to install by chanting it with one long exhalation together. So imagine you're planting it as you're saying it, and imagine it's planted after you've said it. Take a deep breath in, inhale. Hong. Deep breaths to relax. Shoulders down, eyes soft. Feel that you've planted it, you've installed it there. Just feel that it's there. Home. Sometimes it's called the Dhenu Bija, which implies it as the sound that a mother cow makes to call her babies to her. Right? She goes like, home. Okay, so we're going to lay down. So our babies are various things that our minds draw to. There are distractions. We're going to lay down. We haven't got a great amount of chance to lay down, so we'll make it count. So we're going to lay down for exactly 39.5 seconds. Not very long, is it? But all right, 40 seconds. But it will only start from when everyone's laying down. So don't worry, don't panic. It's only because there's a Buddhist meditation group that comes in, and you know what Buddhists are like. They're really quite frightening. So we can't possibly be late. So everything released, body, brain, and breath. Full release. Notice the correlation between release and expansion. Release is giving the particle to the field, which it's always been part of, the body, the brain, the breath.
Feel into the body like it was something new. So you can bend your knees when you're ready. Scoot the buttocks under towards the heels. And then that's an opportunity to take an extra deep breath, releasing the lower back entirely into the breath. And then from there, we'll roll onto our side, facing away from the front of the room, away from the shrine, side of the room, with knees drawn up and tummy skin soft. In your own time, roll back towards the front of the room. Let a little light and color in. And when you're ready, bringing yourself up nice and easy from the side. Om just means I agree. May any merit gained in our acting in this way go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings. Om. Thanks everyone very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Lovely to see y'all. Thank you for coming. Next week is Iostra, which is a pagan festival taken over by the Romans so that they could get control, and then they superimposed that with Christianity. But it's a chocolate eating festival primarily. But that means there are no classes on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday next week. But there are classes on Zoom that you can zoom into at home in your room. So anyway, you might think, well, why is that affecting the Buddhist Center? It's a longer story. I haven't got time to go into it. But thanks for coming. Thank you so much for your time. Be happy, be good, loads of love. Thank you. Try and be groovy as well if you can. Groovy. Okay. Yeah, we already are. See ya.